Maria, the daughter of a duke from the Miro kingdom, arrives in the grand capital of Rubini to live with her childhood friend Aida, the daughter of Duke Amadis. She is excited to reunite after 2 years and is ready to greet her best friend with a hug, but is immediately forced to act like a proper noble lady, which she struggles to do without making it awkward. Duke Amadis finds her behavior amusing and hopes her lively personality will help lift Aida's mood. Soon, Maria comes to know that Aida is going to marry the crown prince, Renato. She becomes instantly curious and excited and starts asking many questions, but Aida calmly explains that the engagement was not her choice, as her father made the decision. Although she accepts it, she does not seem happy. Aida asks Maria why she transferred to Rubini. Maria answers with complete honesty, saying that this place has everything, including potential husbands, which is now her main goal in life. Back in the Miro kingdom, Maria used to train like a warrior because she was expected to inherit her family's title. However, everything changed when her younger brother, Teo, was born, and her role was immediately reassigned from future head of the family to please go get married. Her father made this decision without hesitation. Surprisingly, Maria does not seem upset at all. She is genuinely happy for her brother and fully supports him. Besides, she is quite confident that her skills will still be useful, especially since she casually carries brass knuckles with a family photo inside, which she treats as perfectly normal, noble lady behavior. At the academy, Maria quickly notices that Aida is both admired and quietly disliked. Some girls greet her politely, while others send sharp, jealous looks in her direction. It is the usual noble social atmosphere. Not long after, Maria meets a boy and cheerfully introduces herself, telling him to call her Mimi, only to discover that he is Placido, the younger brother of Renato. Fortunately, Placido finds the situation amusing rather than awkward, especially when he remembers how Maria once threw spiky chestnuts at him as a child. Aida, on the other hand, would very much like the ground to open up and save her from the embarrassment. And as they spend more time together, Placido attempts to introduce Maria to his older brother, Renato. Unfortunately, Renato is far too busy being serious and focused on his duties to even notice them, making it clear that he is not the most approachable person. Later, Maria somehow manages to send another noble girl flying, and then she meets Eleonora, who appears elegant but gives off a slightly suspicious impression. Despite everything, Maria carries on as if nothing unusual has happened, which, for her, is probably true. That night, Maria begins to connect the dots and realizes that Aida seems much closer to Placido than to her own fiancé, Renato, which feels suspicious. Still, she decides not to dwell on it too much, and instead focuses on her main goal, finding a husband. At a party, Maria ends up dancing with Placido, and at first, she panics because dancing is clearly not her strongest skill. Still, she quickly shifts into her usual high-energy attitude and enjoys herself far more than she expects. After the dance, her attention immediately moves to food, which she treats as just as important as socializing. During this time, Placido explains that Aida is not as perfect as she seems, and has been under constant pressure from noble life. Hearing this makes Maria realize she never truly noticed how much Aida has been struggling, and she quietly promises to protect her, no matter what happens. In the meantime, Maria continues writing cheerful letters to her family, assuring them that she is doing well, while casually mentioning that she is still unmarried. Before the big event, Aida attempts to teach Maria how to behave more like a proper noble lady. However, the results are far from perfect, as Maria gives compliments in a very unusual way, such as saying that Aida's hair looks like gold, and then struggling to explain what she actually means. On their way to the party, Maria begins to wonder why Aida rarely spends time with her fiancé, and this question stays in her mind until their carriage suddenly stops because it is blocked by another carriage belonging to Eleonora. They check on her out of concern, but she coldly refuses any help. And although Aida respects her decision and chooses to move on, the entire moment feels strange and unsettling. Maria cannot stop thinking about Eleonora, but there is no time to dwell on it because they soon arrive at the graduation party, which is grand and filled with nearly every important person in the kingdom. Not long after, the two princes of Rubini make their entrance, and the crowd reacts with overwhelming excitement, as many admire Renato for his cold and serious demeanor. In contrast, others are completely charmed by Placido's friendly and gentle nature. However, Maria quickly notices something unusual, as Eleonora is walking right behind Renato, and it becomes clear that he is escorting her instead of his fiancée, Aida, which does not go unnoticed by the other girls, who immediately begin questioning Aida. Seeing Eleonora clinging to Renato again makes the situation look even worse. Maria has had enough, so she steps in, grabs Aida, and firmly says they are leaving. Aida, however, remains calm and explains that people are naturally curious about the prince, and about her as well. She admits that it is exhausting not knowing who is truly concerned and who is simply being nosy. Maria saying that she only speaks honestly, and soon the two of them are laughing again. But then Maria looks up and sees Renato escorting Eleonora once more. People are saying that Eleonora's carriage broke down, and that Renato offered her a ride. While Maria is still trying to make sense of everything, Renato suddenly turns around and locks eyes with her. He walks straight toward her and casually remarks that this makes things easier. Before she can react, he grabs her hand, mistaking her for Aida, and then loudly announces that their engagement is over, right in front of everyone. Placido immediately steps in and demands to know what is going on, but Renato does not back down. He claims that Aida has been secretly jealous of Eleonora and has been harassing and following her behind the scenes. Eleonora, clearly panicking, tries to point out that Maria is not Aida, but Renato continues speaking. He insists that he has evidence from his investigation and demands that Aida be suspended from the academy and apologize immediately. Meanwhile, Maria stands there for a moment, unsure of what to do, but then she looks back at Aida and sees how hurt and devastated she is. Seeing this makes everything clear to her, reminding her of their friendship and the promise she made to protect her. Without hesitating any longer, Maria grabs Renato by the wrist and firmly tells him that he is completely wrong. She then introduces herself as Maria Anavazzi, making it known that he has mistaken her for someone else, and points out that his real fiancée, Aida, is standing right behind her. Not holding back at all, she bluntly tells him that the first thing he should do is get himself a pair of glasses.
And that is it for today. If you enjoyed this recap, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and feel free to write whatever you want in the comments section. Thank you for watching.